Here we go, the news and you, a prepper perspective, what's in the news and how we can prepare. Just a reminder, look back at past news and use. The lessons learned are not specific to just that day. All right, here we go. SpaceX requests Taiwanese to move their manufacturing. So, due to geopolitical concerns, some key components will be manufactured outside of Taiwan now. Some lessons here. Think of your geopolitical risks. What's your supply chain? Who are your suppliers? Where are they located? Look into them. Who controls them? Who runs them? And do an analysis of the risk of getting them the parts, the materials, the service, whatever it is, from wherever you're getting it from. And it's not just manufactured parts. I've had many lovely conversations when I call people for, the Sonos speakers or TELUS or Rogers. And guess where they don't work? Anywhere near me. So there's a risk in the services provided as well. It's not just products. The tax on female runners. This article was about how there was a tax on female runners, and it was still focusing on, or talking about how the focus was still on women having to make the changes, or it's your fault. You're the kind of the victim blaming. Some suggested risk mitigation for women runners. Now, I've heard some of these before. Some of them are newer to me, but alter your routes. Well, yeah, that's a good plan. If you're super predictable and someone knows where you're going to be every day, that's a security risk. Run in daylight hours, preferably with a buddy. Sure. And it's more enjoyable, right? To have a running friend. Not always possible, but more enjoyable. Limit your distractions. So when I run, I don't have ear pods or headsets on or anything. I want to be situationally aware. I want to know what's going on around me, whether it's someone, potentially attacking me, whether that's a person or a dog, a car about to hit me, squealing brakes, honking horns, whatever it is, pay attention. Take self-defense classes. Sure. I mean, that's good advice. Just all around, I think it's great. It's great activity. It's great knowledge to have for anyone, male or female. Carry pepper spray, an alarm. They talked about in this one how there's an app. You can get kind of an alarm, a security type app that is activated by a scream. So if you scream, this app turns on and apparently, I'm assuming, calls somebody. I'm kind of partially more concerned that that these phones always listen to you. I've said the word seriously before and had, in past, not now because I've turned all that stuff off, but had Siri come on saying, how can I help? Seriously? I'm not talking to you, Siri. And one interesting thing was you can get a sports bra with a pocket for a knife in it. Well, there's a good tip. Hey, just women, arm yourselves when you want to go for a jog. Why stop with a little knife? Why not strap a machete on your back? Something like that. At least it's not a concealed weapon then. Now, I'm all for knives. I have at least probably one knife on me at all times. Well, pretty much all times. Anyways, and I recommend, I did a lot of work with scouts. We always recommended the kids, they learn how to use it properly, learn how to take care of it and treat it with respect, but have a knife with them because there's lots of uses for it. But I, don't really always carry a knife in my underwear, or do I? Don't be predictable. Now, what about the men, though? This is all things that the women have to do. What about the men? Should there be more education for men? What is that education? I kind of laughed a little bit when I was thinking about it because I thought, what are you going to teach men? Don't attack women who are running? Okay, that we need a class for that. Don't attack anyone who's not doing anything wrong. In fact, they're doing everything right. Maybe we need more mental health resources for men. Maybe that's a problem. What are the root causes of this? We have to do some analysis, some digging. Why is this happening? Put more effort into that. Maybe it is mental health resources that are needed. Maybe it's harsher punishments. I'm a pretty firm believer in there's different ways to approach things, and you always try the word first, the spoken word. Try to reason with someone. Try to use logic and rationale. But if the soft skills don't work, drop the hammer on them, right? Make the punishments more appropriate or more punitive. Send a strong message. If the education, don't attack women, that's bad. If that doesn't work and all the other soft stuff doesn't work, use the stick. Community members, I don't know if in some of these cases there may have been bystanders there, and I get it if you're afraid to help, afraid to step in. But we have to watch out for each other as well. We have to, see something, say something, call for help, strengthen numbers, all of these things, right? We have to educate our community members as well, to help reinforce these things, that all this stuff is wrong. So yeah, that's kind of my take on this. Sure, there could be responsibilities both sides. Maybe we should have more education courses on, lately I've done some posts on garage security. Maybe we should tell people don't steal from people. Maybe we need to spend more, it seems silly to say, let's just put a whole bunch of resources into educating people that stealing is bad. There was a while ago something in the paper about a teenager who had lit someone else, another student, on fire. And I remember talking with someone and they said, oh, well, they were old enough. They should know better. They were 13 or 14 years old. The person who lit the other person on fire, they should know better. They should know right from wrong. I suspect that someone much younger, I suspect almost anyone, you could ask a very young child, is it okay if I light someone else on fire? They'll probably say no. I think they know right from wrong at that point. Rebuild or retreat, tough choices for repeat flood victims. Should people just keep rebuilding in the same area that's susceptible to hazards like a fire, flood, tornado, hurricanes, landslides? You always see that. It always kind of frustrates me. Oh, we're going to rebuild in the exact same place. Okay. Maybe think about not rebuilding. I get why. You had a beautiful spot right on the river, right, in the forest, all of these things, beautiful. The article that I read said that if we just move the riskiest 0.5% of Canadian homes for flooding, there would be an annual cost or loss prevention or cost savings, depending on how you look at it, of $673 million a year. 0.5%. I think it was something like, if I recall, 77,000 homes. If we moved those. Now, there's all kinds of things that you can talk about. Oh, fair market value. I want more than it's worth. Sentimental. We're not going to get into that. Let's look at what are the mitigation options. It's basically the 4 Ts. If you have a risk, you can either treat that risk. So treat, tolerate, transfer, terminate. Treat the risk. Implement controls to decrease the probability and or the impact, and therefore decreasing the risk to an acceptable level, right? Put up flood barriers, berms, dikes, trenching, waterproofing, all kinds of raise your, stilts, all kinds of things. What are you going to do to decrease the risk or to treat that risk? Tolerate. So you accept the risk. Just say, hey, I want to live here. I'm willing to tolerate this, but that means bearing the cost of it. Okay, if you choose to tolerate and not do anything about it, it should be on you. Don't put that on me. You make that decision knowingly. That's the thing. Make a risk-based decision. Some people move into an area and say, I didn't know it was built on a floodplain. Possible. Maybe someone altered the floodplains. Seen that done. Let's alter the maps. Okay, so you could tolerate it. Transfer it. You could share the risk with someone else. That could either be like in business through a joint venture where you each take on 50% of the risk, or it could be insurance. That's how most people transfer the risk, is they get an insurance product. Now, basically, everyone pays for your choice. So you should be paying a higher premium. If you're going to be in a spot that has flooded repeatedly or had fires repeatedly and you're doing nothing, now this is on the insurance company and you to figure out, but now that's a way to do it. You can transfer it or terminate. You eliminate the risk by ceasing the operation or moving, right? Move to higher ground, move out of that area. Some things cost prohibitive potentially to move. If you've got critical infrastructure, water treatment plants, right? generally got to be close to a water source like a river. So maybe you harden that facility. So again, what are the mitigation options? The 4 Ts, remember them: treat, tolerate, transfer, terminate. Arctic radar enhancements, maybe by 2033. Work to begin, possibly by 2030, for enhanced radar systems and over the horizon focus on missile detection in the Arctic. My general thought on this: if we only do one thing right, it should be Arctic surveillance and defense, where it's our north, right? We have to be involved. We have to take responsibility and step up to the plate. We should spend more on the military in general. There's lots of applications for the military besides going to war. If people say, well, I don't think we should go to war. The military does lots and lots of things other than that. We need to do, what is this? Did I do a typo here? We need to do, I shouldn't say year round. When I was typing this, apologies. When I was typing this, I was going to put, we need to do more better. But yeah, year round also makes sense because we have, in this sense, because we have refueling stations up there. There's been past news articles about this in the north that don't operate year round because the tanks aren't heated. Why would we do that? Why would you put a northern Arctic refueling station and not heat the tanks? Doesn't make any sense. We have to stop being silly about these things and do it right. If you want to be part of Arctic sovereignty, if you want to be a good ally, toe the line, step up, do it properly. That's it for now. Thanks. Share and subscribe.